the name of a fabled Greek character named Narcissus, a god's son who fell in love with his own reflection in a spring of water, is the source of the word narcissism. Anyone with an exaggerated feeling of self-worth is frequently referred to as narcissistic. Everybody occasionally exhibits narcissistic traits. However, when a person's capacity to function and interact with others is compromised, those traits develop into a personality disorder. These 12 indicators point to possible narcissistic traits in you or someone you know. 1. Preference and entitled. It's all about good, bad, superior, inferior, and right, wrong in the narcissist's universe. The narcissist is at the top of the hierarchy because that is the only place he feels comfortable. Narcissists need to rule over everyone and be the best, most right, and most competent person. They also need to do things their way. Interestingly, narcissists can also feel superior by temporarily being the worst, the most mistaken, or the most hurt. 2. Overly important need for validation and attention. Narcissists require regular affirmation from others, who are the only source of this for them. No matter how many times you express your love for, admiration for, or approval of a narcissist, they never feel it is sufficient because they secretly don't think anyone can love them. Narcissists are genuinely highly insecure and afraid of falling short despite all their self-centered, grandiose boasting. To support their frail egos, they continuously seek the admiration and praise of others, yet no matter how much they are given, they are never satisfied. 3. Assault and deflection of responsibility. Even while narcissists enjoy being in charge, they never want to be held accountable for the outcomes, unless, of course, everything goes according to plan and the desired outcome materializes. The narcissist shifts all the responsibility and blame when things don't go as planned or they feel criticized or less than flawless. Someone else must be at fault. The narcissist sometimes assigns blame to a broad group of people, but more often than not, they point the finger at their spouse, the one to whom they are most emotionally attached, most devoted, and most loving. Narcissists are always looking for someone or something else to blame in order to keep up the appearance of perfection. Because they are least likely to quit or reject you, a spouse is the best candidate for the blame. 4. A broad condition. Narcissists struggle to distinguish between themselves and other people. They exhibit a lack of maturity and seem to assume they own everything, that everyone shares their beliefs and desires, and that everything belongs to them. When they are told no, they are astonished and severely insulted. A narcissist will go to tremendous efforts to obtain what he wants from you, whether by perseverance, cajoling, demanding, rejecting, or sulking. 5. A slim empathy. Narcissists struggle to understand other people's perspectives. They typically lack empathy for others and have a tendency to be egocentric and self-absorbed. Instead of responding authentically or truly, they can say that they can't tell what mood you're in or adjust their behavior to suit what they think the other person or scenario needs. Narcissists rarely consider how others might feel and frequently assume that others think and feel the same as they do. Additionally, they hardly ever express regret, guilt, or remorse. Narcissists are also acutely aware of perceived dangers, hostility, and rejection from others. With narcissists, meaningful relationships and emotional connection are made difficult or impossible by this lack of empathy. 6. Emotoreading. You probably made the error of trying to use logic and reason to convince the narcissist of the devastating effects his actions have on you. You believe that once he realizes how deeply his actions have wounded you, he will change. But the narcissist, who only seems to be able to be aware of his own thoughts and feelings, doesn't understand your explanations. Narcissists may claim to comprehend, but in reality they don't. As a result, the majority of the decisions made by narcissists are influenced by their emotions. When someone is bored or melancholy, they may wish to leave their current relationship, start a new one, move, or engage in an adrenaline-filled activity. They constantly turn to outside sources to meet their wants and satisfy their emotions, whether it is drink, drugs, gambling, an affair, or a new sport. They anticipate your agreement with their solutions, and if you don't, they become irritated and resentful. 7. Crossing. The narcissist divides everything in their relationships into good and terrible, just as they divide their own personality into good and negative aspects. They place the blame for any unpleasant thoughts or actions on you or others while attributing all wonderful and positive things to themselves. They consistently accuse you of disapproval while denying their negative statements and deeds. The positive and negative aspects of a situation are difficult for narcissists to perceive, experience, or recall with equal clarity. They can only manage their perspective at a time. When a friend expresses an opinion that differs from their own, they either remove themselves or disparage the other for having an incorrect perspective. 8. Fear. Fear drives the narcissist's entire life. The fears of most narcissists are suppressed and deeply hidden. They live in continual fear of being mocked, rejected, or exposed as being incorrect. They could be afraid of losing their money, being betrayed, being judged negatively or inadequately, being abandoned, or their appearance. They could grow more self-conscious about their weight and appearance as they become older. The narcissist finds it challenging and perhaps impossible to trust other people out of fear of being found out. The more you get to know each other, the less he will trust you. Narcissists are frightened of being truly vulnerable or intimate because they worry that if you see their flaws, you'll condemn or reject them. Because narcissists deeply despise and reject their own embarrassing flaws, no amount of affirmation appears to matter. Narcissists test you repeatedly with greater and worse behaviors in an effort to determine your breaking point, since they never seem to learn to trust in the love of others. They never seem to be able to shake the overpowering fear of being found out or abandoned. 9. Worries. And persistent, hazy feeling of unfavorable events occurring or about to occur is anxiety. While some narcissists suppress and repress their worry, others display it by chatting nonstop about the impending apocalypse. However, the majority of narcissists blame their closest loved ones for their worry, blaming them of being pessimistic, unsupportive, mentally sick, failing to put them first, failing to meet their wants, or being selfish. All of this is done to try to make the loved one feel less anxious by transferring it to them. The narcissist feels better and better while you get worse and worse. In fact, as your anxiety and sadness worsen, he actually feels stronger and more superior. 10. Shame. Because they believe they are always right and that their actions don't actually harm anyone else, narcissists don't experience much guilt, but they are quite ashamed. Shame is the conviction that there is something fundamentally and irreparably flawed or undesirable about who you are. All the doubts, phobias, and rejected characteristics that the narcissist is constantly on guard to hide from everyone, including himself, are buried in a profoundly repressed part of him. All of these rejected ideas and sentiments make the narcissist feel extremely embarrassed. To maintain his thin facade of self-esteem or fake self, the narcissist must keep his flaws disguised. However, in the end, this prevents them from being wholly authentic and truthful. They lack moral character, honesty, and genuineness. 11. The impossibility of being really vulnerable. Narcissists are unable to properly love or connect emotionally with others due to their inability to comprehend emotions, lack of empathy, and constant need for self-protection. They are unable to view the world from the viewpoint of another person. In essence, they are both alone and emotionally blind. They become emotionally reliant as a result. They frequently overlap relationships or begin a new one as soon as feasible when one connection is no longer fulfilling. They fervently want someone to understand their suffering, to empathize with them, and to change things to suit their preferences. But they struggle to understand your suffering, your anxiety, or even your day-to-day need for compassion. 12. The impossibility of communication or teamwork. Realizing one another's feelings is necessary for thoughtful, cooperative behavior. What will the other party think? Will this make us both happy if we do it? What impact will this have on our bond? Narcissists lack the mental capacity and motivation to consider these issues. Expecting the narcissist to empathize with you, give in to your demands, or give up anything he desires for you is pointless. Any actions of kindness or generosity are calculated and motivated by something else. They give in order to receive. I'm afraid that if you know or live with a narcissist, they are unlikely to change and are definitely not going to be receptive to your recommendations that the aforementioned traits remind you of them. If you're unclear of how to handle your relationship with a narcissist, a therapist can assist and direct your way. However, how you cope and react is more crucial.